Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are going to take a look at a fascinating interaction in Chapter 54 of Kaiju number 8. There will be all sorts of spoilers for the series up to Chapter 54, so you have been warned. Click away if you want to. If you want some time to click away before we get into the spoilers, you can go check out my books below the links below the video. Humans Are Weird, I have the data, and Humans Are Weird, we took a vote. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, pretty much wherever books are sold. So I just want to take a look at a moment of major character growth and character growth for Captain Narumi and character development for Kikoru Shinomiya. So the chapter 54 starts out with Kafka establishing just how frustrated he is with his own weakness and the fact that Kaiju number 9 has gotten away. So we establish Kafka's character and his reliance on Kaiju number 8 for its power. Then we move to the revelation that for our main character, things are looking up because the Defense Force has accepted him as an officer again. He's standing there in uniform at Director General Shinomiya's wake, or the service. Then we move on to the main meat of the chapter, the main body of the chapter. After we've got all of those tidy little loose ends tucked away, we now know where the 4 other secondary characters were. We've been introduced to the captains of the 2nd and the 4th Division. And we move back to the previous Director General's office. And there we find Kikoru sobbing onto his desk. And we find out that she was not at the service for her father. Instead, she chose to spend the service surrounded by his scent, surrounded by the last place that she can probably feel his presence in any way. And while she's crying there, presumably after the service, we see Captain Narumi come in. Now, Captain Narumi has been an interesting character from the start. We get him introduced in a wash of confidence and competency that makes us overlook the fact that he was speaking in a frivolous, unprofessional manner to the general director of a major military branch, and that general director was okay with that. And so we didn't notice at first how close Captain Narumi was to General Director Shinomiya. Then we get a look at Captain Narumi as this lazy layabout who's always focused on a gamer boy who's a super professional on the battlefield but super lazy in his personal life. Now, I had speculated from the beginning that when it came to personal matters, Captain Narumi might not be as professional as it would appear to be from the times when we see him in battle. Because I was talking about this in the context of, would Captain Narumi actually be able to take out Kafka Haibino as Kaiju number 8 if it came down to it? Would Captain Narumi be able to, into cold blood, kill another human being like that, especially after he'd emotionally bonded with him? And the conclusion was that when they're first introduced, probably as long as Kafka was in his Kaiju number 8 form, but once they'd formed that emotional bond, probably not. But anyway, there was always this dichotomy, this dual nature to Captain Narumi, which is kind of a theme with this manga, where on the one hand Narumi is super professional in battle, and on the other hand he's super unprofessional in his private life. And we get to see those two natures fighting here in this scene, and we get to see one of them come out on top. So what happened? Again, let's go back to the scene. Kikoru's crying her eyes out on her father's desk. She wasn't even able to get it together enough to get in her Class A uniform for the ceremony. She's just wearing her field uniform, her combat uniform. And that's saying something for someone of Kikoru's tendencies and her dedication to order and method. Then we see Captain Narumi come in, and he starts off. You can tell after reading this chapter that he came in not as her commanding officer, but as her friend. He loved General Director Shinomiya. That was her father. She loved her father dearly. This is one human being coming in to comfort another. And she rejects him. Not in a crude or arrogant or ruthless way, but she does reject this offer of human compassion. Now, Captain Narumi comes in. He comes in himself to check on her first to see if she's okay, but he's brought backup in the form of her best friend, Kafka, which goes to show that Captain Narumi has a really, really good feel for his officers, for what their relationships are, not just what their skill levels are, but who they are as human beings and who they connect to. And he knew that, or was willing to listen to Kafka's suggestion that if he was going to comfort Kikoru as one person to another, Kafka was the best person to do that. But, and again, Captain Narumi comes in and he starts to offer comforting words, and he asks her about her feelings. Are you sure you're okay with not attending the service? Again, this is not the action of a superior officer. This is the action of a friend, of a brother. Now, Kikoru ignores what he was saying. She just starts talking. I wasn't able to do anything. I was too late to make an impact and too weak to save him. It's my fault that he escaped. And again, Captain Narumi acts not as her captain, but as her friend. He goes, that isn't true, which is a true statement, but she cuts him off. She flat out rejects his kind words of compassion, and you can see the shock in his face. He's not offended, he's hurt, but it's more like he's being empathetic with her pain, not focusing on the fact that she just interrupted a superior officer. Again, this is Jin Narumi trying to act as a human being, as a brother to Kikoru. And then she gives that beautiful two-page spread line, I want to become stronger. She said, and she starts telling him what she suspects, and she tells him of her determination to only mourn her father once she's successfully disposed of Kaiju number 9. And after he gets over his shock, he's just kind of standing there staring at her thoughtfully. And once more, Kikoru retreats into those polite, formal words that she was raised with, that she's had drilled into her. She is falling back on their very formal relationship as an officer and a subordinate, not as the two people who love General Shinamaya more than anyone else in the world. And this is so well done. This is a young woman who's been shown to be arrogant and high-handed, completely rejecting an offer of compassion from someone around her, or rather rejecting it in the form that it was offered. But she's not being arrogant. This is clearly a girl in pain, and she's telling him, your compassion is not what I need to get through this right now. And this is where we see this major moment of character growth for Captain Shinamaya. He's looking at her, he sees into her soul, and he understands what she needs. He understands that if she needs compassion, he's not the one who can give it to her. She needs him to take the position that her father took in her life. She needs him to stand in the position not of the compassionate, loving daddy, but of the cold, hard father who's going to make her stronger. This is the role first her mother took, and then her father took. And Narumi understands that. He internalizes that. This is a young man, also high-handed and high-strung. He comes in, offers compassion to someone when he was still hurting from losing General Director Shinamaya, and that compassion is not, that person knocks away his offer of compassion. And he responds with no anger, no stress, just more compassion now tailored to what this person has said they needed. This is an act of true love, of one human being accepting the pain and hurt of another human being and doing everything in their power to make the situation better. He puts aside the soft part of himself. He puts aside the casual part of himself. And when he starts talking to Kikoru again, he's talking to her as Captain Narumi, as the officer. And he promises her that he is going to step into the role that her father filled, that he will be that stiff-spined disciplinarian that was This is the love that she's received from her father for the past 10 years of her life. This is the only way she knows how to interact with her father. And this is the role that, no matter how much it hurts him, Captain Narumi is steeling himself to fill for her, just as her father did when her mother died. And this is, again, it is such an act of love and sacrifice on Jin Narumi's part, and it's just so well done. It's not overstated, it's not campy. This is that bond of brothers love that the media, Hollywood, is constantly trying to capture in these war movies, and capturing, I don't think I've ever seen it done this well. This whole chapter, it was about relationships and the sacrifices people are willing to make, the big sacrifices that show on the battlefield, and the quiet, subtle, I'm not even going to call them small sacrifices, because this was a major sacrifice on Jin Narumi's part, but it's just one of those small, quiet things that no one is ever going to see. That is essentially, if you're talking about it spiritually, this is between you and God, between you and heaven. No one else, perhaps not even the person you make the sacrifice for, is going to truly understand exactly how much pride and arrogance and had to die for you to step up and do this. And like I said, a truly heroic act of love, and it's just so well done. So, my wonderful viewers, what do you think? Have you ever seen this sort of subtle, emotional sacrifice presented before in any media? If so, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, check to make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube will unsubscribe you. And peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. We took a vote, and humans are weird. I have the data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans are weird, we took a vote, and humans are weird, I have the data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.